So now we have 30 minutes of company spotlights. We do have 3 companies to present themselves and their activities. We are going to start with Simone Mauri from the Orbit. Simone, the floor is yours. 10 minutes is yours. Please proceed.
Thank you.
Yep, we see your screen.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so hello, my name is Simone Mauri. I'm a program manager at the Orbit for strategic initiatives, which includes our activities in the GCC region. And I'll give a brief presentation about the Orbit. I've been with the company for about 6 months. My background is from different technology companies, including Safran, Boeing, Rivian Automotive, the Relativity Space, and most recently the Orbit. And this is the primer. So we are an Italian company. We are based in Fino Mornasco by Lake Como. But we are also an international company, and so we have offices across the EU, and since a few years ago, also a subsidiary in the United States, in Colorado. Our vision is creating the first space logistics infrastructure to enable the 1 trillion space economy and human expansion in a sustainable space. So the key word here is perhaps logistics. So we are at heart a services company. We do have products, but all these products, as you will see, provide some sort of service, and that's really what we do. We really think logistics is at the heart of everything humans do, even here on Earth. Of course, the Earth logistics infrastructure is much more developed than the space one, but we think it's where the industry is headed, and where what's needed basically to enable a lot of improvements and achievements in space is really a logistics infrastructure that right now it's missing in large part. We're a growing company. We achieved 64 million euros in revenue last year, which was triple the previous year. We've done our first strategic acquisition of Planetech, another Italian company, last year, and we're aiming for break even this year. We are now up to 600 people, and we have our technology is proven in space. We've done 24 missions now, 100% success rate, knocking on wood. And our main product is Aeon. We've launched 22 of them, and Aeon is an orbital transfer vehicle that deploys other satellites in space, among other things. And so far we've deployed 210 payloads in space. So we've really long and positive track record of proving that our technology works. So I've mentioned it, basically what is our legacy core business, which is space transportation services. So we have the solutions where we transport small satellites to space, and basically accelerate how they are deployed in orbit, so that in a faster way than they would otherwise. And as you know, satellites have a limited life, and so if you can save several months or even a year of operations, it's a huge improvement. But then, of course, this only covers the first month of Aeon's activities in orbit, and so for the rest of its useful life, it carries additional missions that are fundamentally services, like in orbit demonstrations, for example. So that's one. Also, all our satellites are from the get-go were designed to enable a cloud service in space, and so we're fundamentally building our own space cloud capability in space, which provides additional services. You see here, and then further out, but not that further out, things like satellite as a service that where we would make the satellite, and we think in the future it will be seen that it's not as attractive to own the satellite, and it'll be more desirable to maybe just rent an existing satellite for limited time or limited activities. And then one that we're building and investing a lot is in orbit servicing, and you'll see we have a product for that as well, where for the same reasons, extending the life of existing satellites and even recycling ones that are at the end of their useful life will become more and more important in the future. And so we're creating that capability. And then I've mentioned the one acquisition from last year, Planetech, and this is squarely in the field of downstream services, and so we'll be able to offer more integrated solutions thanks to this acquisition. Here are main products I mentioned. Like Aeon is the one that the company was built on, and as I mentioned, is an orbital transfer vehicle and can do other things afterwards. NOx is our Earth observation product that we're developing, and then Gaia is the one that I mentioned on in-orbit servicing. So the Gaia would be able to essentially dock to other satellites, perform repairs. And as satellites are designed to be repairable, which traditionally, of course, they're not, this will become more and more relevant. But it already is capable of, or will be capable of doing missions even on existing satellites. We have a very broad range of customers that we've worked with over the years, both NewSpace and traditional, as well as institutional. And also very diverse geographically. As you can see, we've covered most of the world by now. We're still missing a few countries, but working hard at adding to the list. And also we have strategic partners. So our satellites are designed to work with all launchers at this stage. Of course, most of the launches currently happen with SpaceX for obvious reasons, but we're not limited. We can basically work with any launcher at current time, and we have launched with other companies, especially of course Avio and Arianespace, and then also a broad range of key industrial partners, both European and foreign. Also, a nice collection of investors, both institutional and banks, that kind of thing. And sort of like longer term vision of what we're trying to do is essentially we're trying to create a circular economy in space where right now it's more about optimizing the satellite business and its performance, but in the future we're working towards, as I mentioned, extending the life of these satellites, disposing of the ones that don't work anymore. But of course, it's expensive to get material in orbit, so we don't want to really dispose of it in a permanent way. It's better if you can recycle and then manufacture directly in orbit, extract resources that are already in space. Of course, asteroid mining is the big one. It's further out, of course, but it's something that is on our roadmap. And all this together will create a sustainable space settlement, hopefully in a distant future. So that's fundamentally where we're headed as a company. But this is about GCC, so you're wondering why what are you doing there? So we and this is this one of the initiatives I'm leading. So we have the Orbit Saudi we created recently in 2025, and it's at present a wholly owned the Orbit subsidiary. It will not remain a wholly owned subsidiary, and which will also support our roadmap of that I very briefly presented to you. It was incorporated last year, and we already have commercial registration and industrial license. So it's we've covered already a lot of the administrative work to get started, and it's part of what we call distributed space, which is sort of a model that we've used already in other regions to develop local space economies, but with the goal of making them independent and creating an ecosystem. It matters for the region, of course, because the GCC has both investment appetite and a good industrial base on which to build to create sovereign space manufacturing. And so the Orbit Saudi is intended to be not just a Saudi company, but also a regional hub for the Gulf regions and potentially also surround adjacent regions like Africa or Southeast Asia. And this, but specifically to GCC, this of course fits with the strategy of the region that we've been discussing, and it will enable reducing dependence on foreign supply chains, and especially building capability across the Gulf. So we're fully committed to localizing and building the whole ecosystem, not just arriving and trying to sell products that are developed and built elsewhere. And what's next for us is fundamentally now we have a plan to announce the location within Saudi this year, and also we have several partnerships in work with key stakeholders that we also announced this year. Early this year, we announced an agreement with ELT, which is another Italian company, to jointly develop products for the region. And but yeah, we're very tightly working with Saudi authorities, and yeah, more to come. This concludes the overview and the time I have. So
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
But before we proceed, again, can you please explain, are you going to relocate some production facilities into the region? So how's with the local workforce? Are you going to relocate and hire like a local workforce to do this hardware solutions and so on?
No, and I mean even internally with our workforce, we've been clear of this. It's not the idea is not to move work elsewhere. The idea is to grow the pie fundamentally, and some of this growth is enabled by being in Saudi. And so we believe we can grow our business fundamentally, and this additional demand can be satisfied in Saudi as it should be, since this is growth for the country and for the region. And so it's more sustainable growth if there's local demand and local workforce and locally generated IP. So we think it's a flywheel, and if you can help the region develop, the pie grows for everybody, including us.
Thank you so much.